Well, it's a good morning in Visoko in Bosnia, and we come here for a scientific conference for 7 days. And there's a guy called Dr. Sam. I can't pronounce his last name, but he got a PhD in pyramids, basically over there in Central and South America. Anyway, when he came back into Bosnia here, he saw the vegetation that covered up basically a pyramid, 4 equal sides, So he set up a foundation and then proceeded to do some trial experiments excavating, and they discovered certain what would you call it, a construction material that's not something that we have today. Anyway, I'm getting crooked here. I need to go to the bathroom.
All right. Morning, everybody, to Dreaming the New Dream. And today is Thursday, the 5th of September, 2024. Gosh, these months are flying by. Anyway, it's a lovely, wet, windy day in Dorset, and it's about 15 degrees. And I've got the fire on this morning because I'm cold. Anyway, without further ado, this morning's show has changed. We were going to have Dr. Sam on, but he's doing a press conference. Jeff has been taken poorly, and he's come back on to try and do the show, but all his photos have dropped off the system or something. So he's unwell. So he's suddenly left. So David Pace has stepped in. So welcome, David, and good morning, and thank you for stepping in to help us out.
Good morning to you. Thank you.
No, it's our pleasure. So obviously, like I said before, I've never been to a pyramid. I'm going to Egypt in October, and I'm really looking forward to having that experience. So not quite sure where we could start with this. So I was having a little read up about the Bosnian pyramid, and lots of people are saying it's a healing mountain, it's a natural structure, or it's been built by aliens, or it was just there. So would you like to share your experience and if you've been to other pyramids and how you're finding this one and this trip?
Sure.
In a nutshell.
Sure, absolutely. So I've been following Dr. Sam's work on YouTube and other videos for several years, and I was always just astounded as to what he's finding, and I never had the opportunity to come over here. I have been to a couple other pyramids, a couple in Mexico, Teotihuacan and Chichen Itza, and have been to the top of both of them. So there's a big difference. When we came over here, there's 6 pyramids. 2 or 3 of them you can readily get up on top. And the difference is you can feel energy off of these pyramids, and it's astounding. Unlike anything I felt, I didn't feel anything in Mexico at all.
Really?
And different places that you can stand and either feel it coming up through your legs or all the way up through your head. And the longer you stand, the more energized you get. So they're saying that it's negative ions, which are beneficial for your body, and I find it to be true.
So, because I was reading about a lot of people have gone there and have come back healed, or their aches and pains and all sorts of things have gone. So, and I was also reading this pyramid is 33,000 years old.
Approximately 33,000 years, and how they've done that is they've done a different types of carbon-14 dating, and everything that he's shown us so far seems to be above board. Plus the fact that this is the 7th annual scientific conference, which really interested me. So they're bringing scientists from different parts of the world with different instruments to measure, and they are reporting to us on a daily basis what they've found. So they measure both off the pyramid site as a control and on top of the pyramid sites, and then usually the next day they'll give us the results. Also, they have these underground tunnels that they have been excavating that lead up to the pyramids. So you go into a tunnel and you can sit, stand, or walk back pretty far. One of them we went 1,000 feet or 320 meters back, and you can sit and relax, and you start feeling these energies coming throughout your body. A lot of people will sit there and meditate and have different kinds of experiences depending on how sensitive you are. And so I find that just fascinating.
Of course, I think as well, where you are, there's no EMFs, towers, and all of these things that have been placed around us, that obviously you're in the real pure energy, aren't you? I mean, that must be incredible.
Right. Yeah, exactly. The tunnels filter out all the bad, harmful EMFs frequencies. And so when you're in there, you can, your body can be, I guess, more relaxed because you're not being inundated by all the cell phone towers and everything else. And so that's part of it.
Yeah, and that's our natural state, isn't it? That's how ideally we should be.
Right. Also, they have a pure type of pyramid water from the tunnels that you can take and mix it in with the regular bottled water and feel the energies that way too. So there's several ways to feel the energies, not just from walking in the tunnels.
Yeah, because I was going to ask about that. I listened somewhere Dr. Sam said that their main source of income is through the bottled water. So is there an actual spring inside the pyramid? How do they access the water?
There inside the tunnels, there's a few places that there is water. I don't know if it's spring fed. I don't know how it's fed, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
But they keep it closed off because they don't want people to go in and contaminate it or try and go swimming or any of that stuff. And so they go in there and bring it out and then bottle it up. I happen to have a bottle of pyramid water here because I wanted to try it. And it's so powerful that you usually just take one capful of the water and put it in a liter of water and then let it charge up overnight and then start drinking it.
Because I read about that and I was thinking, well, is there springs, where's the water coming from? Because I've never experienced going into a pyramid, so I would have no idea. So amazing. And also it's like you've got the scalar waves, or cosmic waves in there as opposed to other waves.
Right.
Trying to find the right words.
They measured 28 kilohertz frequency waves coming off the top, which is very unusual. And they say that they're measuring scalar waves coming off of it. So I don't know if that's true, but that's what some of the scientists here are saying.
I'm very into sound. So have you done any sounding in there, Jeff or David, or have you heard about people bringing sound instruments in or just using the power of their voice?
A couple who came. One, he was from Turkey and she was from Bosnia, and they were they've been hired to do sound workshops in the Green Pyramid, which is a man-made pyramid, and they had the sound bowls there, and then they had it's a drum, but it's almost like a horn, but it's not a horn. It's a different type of beat. Anyway, and then they had the 8 octagonal points of feng shui on the floor, and then on the each northeast, southwest, they had looking down from the top of the pyramid down as we go into the ground. So you're looking straight down through these squares. Boom, boom, boom. So his name was Typhoon, and her name was Amana or something like that. Anyway, when we're doing, they said just to sit down here. It was just the 3 of us, and he just said just go into meditation, and Amana would be playing the sound bowls, and then all of a sudden I could hear this really lovely voice, and it turned out to be Typhoon, and so he had it was almost like a tenor, counter-tenor voice. It was really quite surreal. But anyway, when they finished after about 25 minutes, I got up and I said, "Have you ever done any toning by singing your name?" So we sang Typhoon's name and Amana's name, and then we did Hallelujah. It was really had a great resonance, So and
did you record it?
No, it was just a spirit of the moment.
Right. Okay.
The other day I took a mobile phone and which had the wow music from Harvey Bay. Because I was with Dave and a guy called Ray, I just asked their permission if I could play it, along with didgeridoo music. But it was more or less a sacred place, so it was all about taking the time in these antechambers and doing a meditation, in that negative ions. So there's one there, big megalith. Was it 50,000 negative ions per centimetre? It's a massive body.
Right,
stuff.
55,000.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it can play with you. If you come in out of the world of life and all the EMF, and if you're in a car that's driven by batteries and that stuff, or you've got the mobile phone. I think one of the actual presenters there talked about having the mobile phone to your ear. It's not a very good look. So as Dave might have alluded to, some of these scientists, they're really grounded. They're grounded people, Actually, go on.
I was going to say, did he? Because I was reading somewhere that he had quite a bit of hostility right at the beginning, and now that he's been there all that length of time and so many people are going there, is that sort of changed now? Are they more open to people coming there? Because obviously it looked like hundreds are going there all the time.
I think one of the guys, Ajay, whatever his name is, Dave.
Yes, Ajay.
I think he said there's 200,000 tourists come to the Bosnian pyramids a year.
Wow.
So, look, Egypt, they've got a vested interest not to get people to come to the Bosnian pyramids. So, they want people to spend their US dollars, the euro dollars in Egypt. And, they put out the fact that, these pyramids in the sand desert, the real McCoy, and so too in Central South America. But I think what I've learnt is the fact that when they revealed these big, huge slabs, and there were 6-sided slabs, and they're massive. And they're layered. Like at this moment in time, there's 4 layers. And it's like brick making. You put the one here like that, and then you come underneath like that. So you can see there's an intelligence in there. And I think what got me across the line there was when they unearthed the top slab, and they found these leaves, and so they sent them off for carbon dating. And Dave will probably tell you, not quite sure, is it 25,000 years old or something?
Right. And the fact that they found them, they found these leaves under the concrete slabs. So they had to be at least that old because they were covered. So then they did the carbon dating and it found it to be 24 to 30,000 years old.
Incredible, eh?
So
Wow.
been around for a while.
I think that the other part that got me across the line was when you mentioned, these big. I mean, they sent the samples off to the universities, and they come back and said it's a form of concrete, and that was a turn of events because they mentioned that when you're making concrete, it's usually around about 80, 85, 90 MPS, and of course in the Western world, when you do the concrete, you put in the steel reinforcing rods. So Dave mentioned to me, he said, "Do you ever look at these big slabs? There's no steel reinforcing rods. They're just made up of pebbles, stones, and clay, and their rating is 155 MPS, which today's construction industry can't come anywhere near that. I mean, you mentioned the big building up in Dubai. They got to 115. Is that right, Dave? 115 or 105?
Right. That sounds right.
Yeah. So you can see that there's an intelligence there that created these things without steel reinforcing rods, and they're so strong, and the strength of them is just amazing. So, but when the original Egyptian archaeologists come over, they said, "Yeah, this is pyramids. This is pyramid," and then the guy in charge of the Ministry of Antiquities, isn't it? Antiquities,
right?
Archaeology. He just turned around because he's good mates with Mar Burek, the president, and his wife, and he sent out instructions to all the schools of archaeology around the world. He said, "If you promote the Bosnian pyramids, I will revoke your visa to come to Egypt."
Nice guy, huh? Yeah, Zahi Hawass.
So the thing is that it makes it, because Dr. Sam talked about Gympie pyramids, and how the Queensland Transport Department just rode rough.
Right in the middle. Yeah, I remember going to that one.
Anyway, so I said, well, you probably realise that they actually had dismantled that Gympie pyramid for construction of the Gympie township. So essentially what was left is just the initial foundations. And I said, our people went there, and it's actually two Aboriginal tribes that were fighting over it. So one tribe, is actually took the money from the Queensland government to say, yep, you can, we've got title, we can give you the rights to come through. But the other tribe / clan, they're the original owners. So there's a dispute between these two clans. But so the one that belongs to Trevor and Susie, they just don't have the manpower and the financial clout because they're not registered with the Aboriginal and Island Affairs. But, anyway, there's another story there. So the thing is, I just want to point out that when Dr. Sam started excavating northeast, southwest on this pyramid and started realizing that the same big, large, what would you call concrete slabs are on northeast, southwest. So, it just showed you there was an intelligence behind it all. And then you can see on the other pyramid of the moon, you can see how the slabs are smaller, but they have, it's almost like a ceramic tiler from today's industry has gone there and laid out these stones. And of course, what's actually happened, as you know, is that if you're looking at 30,000 years old, I mean, it's been saturated with winds and rain, and also it's received a lot of dirt in the winds, and then of course the birds drop the seeds. So we're seeing vegetation. So I think if Dr. Sam has really shown people that have a look in your immediate area, in your part of the world, and just see if you've got an equilateral triangle of four sides, and it's probably closed in vegetation, and then you realise it's been there for some time.
Mm.
The other thing to make mention of the fact is that when he started kicking some field goals there, then the Bosnian government came in and claimed the top part of the pyramid, and then later on they came back and then pushed down. Was it 140 meters from the tip down the top, and said this is a national park, a national monument.
Right.
So made it very difficult. So so the issue now is that the young fellas said there's caves there, and of course that's when they've been. What was really strange is there's an intelligence there. These tunnels have been backfilled, so there's a dry wall, and then they've been filled up. So it's something's actually taken place over eons of time for them to, stop people from going into the tunnels, or maybe the energy that's in that pyramid is such that they don't need a Neanderthal type education type Western Perth people or whatever going into those pyramids and then changing the calibration of the pyramid. It's just a theory on my part, but the thing is that the tunnels that we've been going into, they're away from the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, but they've actually excavated 3 kilometers, and those tunnels are making their way towards the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. So it may be some time before they'll actually find an entrance into the actual Bosnian Pyramid.
They're thinking that all the other pyramids, the smaller pyramids, are feeding the energy to the main pyramid, the Pyramid of the Sun, almost like a circuit. So both through the tunnels, and also they're finding that the 28 kilohertz coming off the tumulus conical hill and the Pyramid of the Moon are angled. That energy beam that's coming off is angled towards the Pyramid of the Sun. So somehow it's a giant circuit that's being fed.
Incredible, eh? So
Right.
I was reading as well, there's lots of pyramids around the world. So any ideas of rough estimation? Because I had no idea. I've not really looked into pyramids, even though I've been aware of them, and I've gone like to the Gympie one that wasn't there, but the energy of it. How many are there on a rough estimate around the world then? Because there's more than a few, isn't there?
Yep.
I'd say hundreds of thousands. China has so many pyramids. Peru, Yucatan's, Mexico, all over. They're just everywhere. So whether or not they give off energies, I don't know.
So you've been to quite a few, and Jeff has. So before you went to this one, which has been the most, has had a profound effect on you when you've walked into it?
Well, Teotihuacan, only because of the size of the Pyramid of the Sun there. There's 3 pyramids there, and the size of it was just amazing. Just climbing up the steps was almost overwhelming. We had to rest several times to get up it. But once I got up to the top, I didn't really feel anything coming off of it. So even though the Bosnian pyramids don't look as nice because they're not cleared off, there's so much vegetation on them. The big difference is what you feel. And I haven't met anybody on any of the daily trips that we take to the various sites that has not felt the energy. everybody does. There's even some young kids that are coming along, and they feel them too.
Natural energy, eh?
Right. So it's like a spa where no, literally, you're tired because you're climbing up these hills and these steps to get to the top, and my legs were aching and aching and aching, and you get up to the top, and then you sit down on the exposed concrete blocks and rest for 10 minutes, and you feel totally rejuvenated. Just all this energy that's coming up. People were meditating. People were taking their socks and shoes off and kind of grounding per se. And you can feel your body tingling full of energy, and then you're ready to go again. You can't do that in most hills.
No. No, not as natural as that. Go on.
We went to one site called Tumulus, and it's almost like a dome, but they've got these photos of similar constructions, and they show you the one at Sidbury Hill, the same structure as what's in Sidbury Hill is the one over here, Tumulus. They've also got Harry Oldfield's lenses. They're taking photos, with all the different energy colors on the different pyramids there, different mountains.
So what's been the highlight of this trip then, of this conference?
A lot of highlights for me, besides visually seeing the size of the pyramids, and the presentations have been very, very good from the different scientists describing. So each scientist has their own individual expertise. One is audio guy from Finland, and he's been showing the audio that he's found coming off the pyramids. And so that's been very, very interesting. These guys explaining what equipment they've used, how they've used it, and they're very good at categorizing all the data. That's been very interesting. But then again, feeling the energies is believing. Once you feel it, and we come back 2 or 3 times a day to either the tunnels or a pyramid, you realize this is real. And nobody's talking about it because the mainstream media and archaeologists don't talk about it. But if they're saying that 200,000 people a year are coming here on a regular basis from all over the world to experience it, then there's something to it.
Oh, definitely. And obviously there's going to be more and more by the sound of it, eh?
Right.
Especially after this conference and people listening to the podcast and Dr. Sam's, because I know there was a press release going on this morning. So, and you can feel the energy of this place. It's like starting to really bring the people in. And I mean, to experience something like that without any airwaves of going on around you.
Right.
Incredible, because we've forgotten what it feels like now because we've been bombarded. So many of us in different ways with different things.
Right. Also, the people here, the local people here in Visoko, Bosnia, are very nice, very friendly. Haven't had any problems or any issues, and it's been great all the way around.
They must enjoy all the tourists that come, though, surely.
I'm sure they do. That helps their jobs in the industry, so I'm sure they do.
Well, considering they had the war and they had to rebuild after the war, so a lot of people left Bosnia because of it's the only European country which is Islamic.
Really? So I know you've taken lots of photos and you're not able to show us all these photos. So, I mean, obviously you will have to when you feel better, put them together and put them up for people to experience. So,
the monitor just went out.
Sorry. Or not.
Yeah, I got I'm sure I dehydrated yesterday and then I got food poisoning. So I've had 12 hours in bed and in the bathroom all night. So yeah, something's going on.
One of the
I'm sorry. The only reason we've done this in the hotel is that we know we've got Wi-Fi. Even though I've gone and got a Bosnian SIM card for the phone, to go over to Dr. Sam's park, it was a case of hotspotting it, and I wasn't quite sure how it was going to turn out in a hotspot. Plus, where I am now, we're plugged into the power, so that's where we're at. So, yeah, Dr. Sam's did say, he's going to do a press conference about 9 o'clock, and he said, "Well, we'll do the show after that." But I just didn't feel like lugging all the bloody, the laptops and the monitors and all that stuff around all day around the park.
Well, that makes sense, especially if you don't feel well. So, well, thank you for coming on, feeling like you do, doing what you're doing. So, yeah. So I can imagine what it's like sitting there with going through all of that. So, yeah. So, is there anything else you want to share, or do you want to? Because I know you're not feeling that great, or you can, finish the show early today.
Probably, Dave.
Well, one thing I would like to bring up is one of the presenters here, one of the scientists here, Professor Konstantin Karatkov, this guy is incredible. And one of the inventions that he made is called the BioWell, formerly the GDV. And what it does is you're able to put your fingers in this little device that he made, and it reads your aura field.
Yeah.
And so what they do here, unfortunately, Jeff and I found out about this a little late, but when you first come here, before you go into the tunnels or a pyramid, you go in and get a before reading.
Oh, wow.
And then afterwards, like on the day you're going to leave, after you've come out of the tunnels, then you get an after reading. And the difference then will show you how the holes in your aura all along your body are affected positively. So even though Jeff and I missed the first reading, we're planning on going back today and getting a reading to see hopefully that it's improved. So I find that fascinating.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Wow. Carol, fabulous information show. I look forward to hearing more. Yeah, so I think we'll yeah, I know you, because we had Dr. Jo Whitaker on the show weeks ago, and she'd just come back from the Bosnian pyramids, and she was sharing, and she gave Jeff a couple of contacts, etc., to connect with when she'd come back. So yeah, it's interesting how people are getting called there now, like more so. You're hearing people saying, "All right, I feel I need to go," or I want to go," or yeah, there's obviously a big pull happening.
We're meeting a lot of people here from Eastern and European countries because it's relatively close and easy for them to access by car or bus. And that's exciting too, because meeting people from all over the world. So that part's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So if just say for myself, being a tourist, I want to go. Is there like a booking to go? Do you have to book to be able to go around the pyramid? How does it work?
As far as what I'm understanding, you can pretty much come here on your own and have access to at least some of it. Right. You can drive to the Pyramid of the Sun and have total access to that for free. The Pyramid of Moon, it's a little bit harder, but you can make that up that. The Tumulus, you can make that up for free. The park that is free to go into the tunnels, the first tunnel, the main tunnel, that is just a minimum, like maybe €5 or something like that, that you could experience the tunnel energy. Anything more than that, if you want a guide, then I don't know what the procedure or how much that would be. But there's a lot of people that are like myself. You just come here on your own and make your way over there.
So would you need like quite a few days to experience, the area or where they are?
I would say at least 4 or 5 days to experiencing the area. And there's a lot of really nice hotels over here that you could find places to stay. So if you're flying, then you fly into Sarajevo, which is an international airport, and then make your way by taxi here, probably about 25 minutes by taxi.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that, because there's, not experience it, so it's nice to know, people are listening and getting the call to go.
Right.
That it's quite easy, and you don't have to go through all these different hoops and things to get there. So
right.
But we went to the bank there and went to the ATM machine, and they charged $12 the local currency. So when you go there, whether it's $50 or $100, they charge another $12 on it. So I've since learnt that if you go to the restaurants and the taxis, you can give them euros, or even the shops, you give them euros. It's 2 to 1. So you give them euros and they'll pay you back in local currency.
So yeah, the exchange rate's really good here as far as you get your money's worth.
Well, that's nice. A lot of places you don't these days, eh?
But there's now, so some people, you talk about safety and coming over to countries that they're not familiar with. I've met several ladies that have come here on their own from different countries, and no issues, no problems at all. So I think it's a pretty safe place.
Interesting. Okay, is there anything else you guys would like to share from your trip this time?
No, I'm not going back to bed and just cook.
All right. Okay, well, we can come to a closure and let you go back to bed. And thank you, Jeff, for taking the time out, because I know you're under the weather, and we hope you feel better soon. And David, thank you very much for stepping in and helping and going into the next room.
Yes.
So it's been an absolute pleasure hearing about the pyramid, and wish you both well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, everybody that's listened to Dreaming the New Dream this week. And we'll get Jeff to do a video or a reel of all his photos that we could share later.
Okay. All right.
Same time, same place next week. Thank you, everybody, and have a lovely week. Okay.